There is a fifth dimension.
A dimension of sound.
Damn it, Frank! We tell him to be quiet. I spilled my hot cup of Uranus again.
A dimension of sight.
Hey, Arch. I'm gonna sock you in the puss.
A dimension of mind.
Man Adams, is that you?
Next stop, the Twilight Zone.
What's going on? What's going on, everyone? What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Fifth Dimension of Twilight Zone podcast. Jacob is waving super hard, so I don't know what he's been doing earlier before we started recording, but we'll just say
That's what she said.
she did it. Yeah. She said that in the cornfield. But we're back. We're back to talk another Rod Serling TV series episode. His famous TV series that he.
What?
What's that?
She's stuck in the corn.
What? I can't hear you.
She's a child of the corn.
I have ears around me, but I can't hear you.
That's what she said. She's sticking up all those holes.
Hey, you know what? You better be careful, man. You don't want to get into it with the guy that walks behind the rows because he's kind of a badass.
What it is,
I know is
really.
Yeah.
Triv has officially transitioned now, and she's not ready to show.
I'm stuck in the corn, man.
She's not ready to reveal as of yet. But we, as always, are with you,
Christ Almighty.
Well, to be fair, be careful walking through the corn because you might find an old woman in a rocking chair, and then like another guy staring back at you. There might be an apocalyptic.
Oh, you're talking about the stand? Yeah. Mother Abigail.
Just watch out for Randall Flagg. Yeah, oh god, I don't want to talk about that version.
I don't know. Molly Ringwald isn't exactly a walk in the park.
No, but I'm talking about the new. He's talking about the new version, the one that didn't even adhere to the structure of the fucking book.
I didn't see it, but I know.
Well, neither did Lawnmower Man.
Yeah, but Lawnmower Man's Lawnmower Man.
No,
yeah, at least it. No. This is where it took the concepts and ideas and completely threw that out the window and just did whatever the fuck it was. I don't. Anyways, I
heard some of the stuff that show did, and I was just like, oh my god.
I think you just like putting your boner in things.
Oh yeah.
All right, Raiden.
Okay, I can delete those now. I don't need them anymore.
With that said, we are here to talk Rod Serling's famous TV series because he knows he loves us talking about it, of course. But we're back to talk an episode that I find as a guilty pleasure. It's one of those episodes that a lot of people might not think is like the greatest, but I think it's fun for what it's worth. But before we do that, we are back with our corny host, of course. God. And we, of course, are, here with the person that goes pop in our life and the one that,
Christ.
Is the buttery center to our, our saltiness that we are podcast.
Dude, you're making it sound like I'm a freaking like the sex worker here. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm not salty.
I mean, I don't know what Iowa's
bring
like.
Buttery goodness to you.
I mean, she's the caramel to our poppiness. She's
I swear to God, if you refer to me as cheesy, I will have a conniption.
He's the colonel of this motherfucking tank.
Oh God.
Right.
I mean,
into the heart.
I saw how well y'all did last week talking about random shoes, so
Well, Trev, like when the guys get aboard without the lady, it's quite the interesting contest.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I'm not saying you need me, but this podcast needs a third.
It needed something.
We need you. You are the colonel of this motherfucking tank.
Oh God.
We after big things. You after big things.
You guys did just fine. I was proud of you boys. Yeah. Y'all did so darn good.
Soldiers in combat.
All 50 minutes. All 50 minutes of it.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
True test.
You covered the important shit. You even got that the music was redone from the Fever. Yeah, exactly. You got the trivia, you got the main points, you managed to do the ranking, which is obviously your favorite part of the entire experience. You got it. You're good.
Yeah, but there was just that kernel missing. Missing.
Yeah.
Anyways, Triv, you're back from the field, or at least you're not. I think you're still in the field, so you're still growing. How you doing?
What?
Welcome back.
I have several holes in
Are
my
you
stomach.
are you the Groot of corn?
I just suppose so. I have several holes in my abdomen, but otherwise I'm okay.
Yeah,
That's where they injected the butter.
so
Yeah,
Wednesday afternoon.
exactly. I mean, that is the normal procedure for that, right?
Injecting butter?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. We'll go with that.
Absolutely.
Oh shit. No, yeah. Welcome back. We missed you.
Oh,
Seriously.
thanks, guys.
Yeah. Until next week when we don't miss you anymore because you're a regular back on.
Yeah, I know.
Would you feel like
expect that?
She's back from existence.
Till you start to try and push perchance to dream higher up the ladder.
I literally can't do that. You know that is not within my corn powers.
Until you
I was gonna mention
stop pushing it down the ladder.
I'm trying to push it down the ladder. You guys are the ones that put Dead Man's Shoes at 62.
It deserved it.
Hey, you could have put it higher up to get perchance to dream down another slot, but you didn't.
See, Jacob, I don't know if I don't think I ever told you this, but I was gonna talk to you about, since Triv wasn't here, I was gonna talk to you about, moving perchance to dream down. But someone was stalking me, so I was just like,
dude, someone
had an ear on the podcast, so
yeah, I have been laid up for the past week and a half. I haven't been able to stock jack shit.
I mean, I guess, man, shucks. I don't know what to say.
Literally shucks. You're gonna go with corn shuck
shucks.
as a
Shucks.
Okay.
I just got that.
Okay.
I have jokes for years, people. Or at
you
least
got jokes.
Days,
he got jokes,
minutes.
people.
I got jokes for minutes.
He's got dad jokes.
You know what he doesn't have?
Regrets. Regrets.
Oh my god.
I definitely don't have those. So, but yeah, so
a couple
things have happened.
He could be playing a game of cornhole. As in,
Triv, you could be Corn Julio now.
I could be Corn Julio. I need TP for my bunghole that isn't corn shuck.
Yeah. Oh man.
So it's 1 o'clock in the morning, by the way, people.
Yeah, for me it is. Yeah. So anyways, so couple things have happened. Triv's come back, and Jacob finally posted his video.
Yeah. And it's a humdinger.
3 videos. You can only see one of them right now, though.
And it's really bloody good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Lots of work went into it.
I mean, he talks about the greatest controller in history of man.
Oh, fuck's sake. Okay, you know what that is the equivalent of? That's the equivalent of like one of those vibrators where it's got all kinds of shit on it and not one bit of it actually pleasures a woman.
I think we may have found a use for it finally. It's the shocker.
See, this is where I get demonetized and I have to put no ads because he's explaining how to use the controller in sexual positions.
Dude, we're like 10 minutes in. You're fine.
But where does this go?
Well,
that goes to your partner. I mean, you could use it. Yeah, you have a Rumble feature. Yeah, you're good to go. Anyways, congratulations on that, Jacob. I know you've been working on it for quite a while. You've been talking about it for quite a while. So congratulations on the first release.
Nick has put out like crazy amounts of videos the past month and a half, which you totally need to go check out because they're awesome.
Yes.
I don't like talking about myself.
Oh, shut up. That's why I'm talking about you.
He stresses me out with
Triv.
the videos he puts out.
Yeah, but they're not very good. No,
Triv.
Yes, they are. I'm stressed
stuff is
for
fucking
him
good.
For the amount of work that he puts into his videos.
I'm blushing.
It makes me stressed.
Triv, I'm blushing, and all I can say is, shucks.
Oh, shut up. You're being corny.
But no, in all seriousness, it's yes. But yeah, actually, before we get into the episodes that we'll talk about, Triv, you weren't on last week's episode, so you weren't able to give your opinion because you were in the process of transition. And Dead Man's Shoes.
Transitioning means having a bunch of holes in my abdomen.
Sure. We support you, Triv.
Christ
no, but
nothing against those transitionings, but I did not become an ear of corn. I'm just lost in this field.
I mean, why not?
When in Iowa.
I mean, it is boring.
So anyways,
let's be honest.
So anyways, Dead Man's Shoes, we talked about it, me and Jake. We weren't, Jacob was more high on it than I was, to be fairly honest, but we consider it not a very good episode, to be fairly honest. But Triv, just quick thoughts on what you think of this episode, and would you rank it at 62?
Yeah, I think I would. I mean, I think that watching the episode, like, I kind of went into it. I remember it like pretty well, like back during the marathons and stuff. My stupid questions come back to why would you not wear, or do you wear socks with loafers? I honestly don't know. Back in that time and place, because it feels like
this is the stuff we needed.
Do we wear socks with loafers?
Feels like you should have been wearing socks with loafers, especially off the feet of a dead guy. His buddies, like when he's with his two homeless buddies, they seem like they spend a lot of time looking down, and I don't know whether they're looking at his junk or looking at his shoes.
Maybe something else.
Exactly. Maybe I don't know. And also I think the alleyway there was from Trouble with Templeton, just the way that it was laid out, as well as the trumpet one.
Ooh, that's not a good sign.
Oh, I thought it was the same alley as Once Upon a Time. That's what I was thinking.
It might have been, but I know
they use the same alleyway for everything. So
no doubt. Otherwise, I mean, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't good about it. There was some stuff that was okay. Like the concept was kind of cool. I did look up the tequila thing because that was more interesting than the actual episode. It turns out that if you work with good sipping tequila, the sugar actually makes it smoother. But for shit tequila, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I'm assuming he wasn't drinking the smooth tequila. The smoothest aftertaste.
I mean, if he's at a fancy restaurant, there's a good chance it probably was a decent tequila.
I guess that's true. I guess it's he is a gangster, so I mean.
Yeah. But no, the last 10 or the last like 5 minutes was where everything kind of happened. It didn't suck. So yeah, no, I think 62 worked. Unless you wanted to get perchance to dream down the list, then you absolutely failed. But otherwise, you guys did good.
We failed.
It's okay.
We failed from this plane of existence.
Horribly. That's okay.
We try.
I really found it fun that the episode you guys that we kind of hate a lot, The Fever, had the same music as this.
Was it the feed? Did we come to that conclusion? I remember the music. I was like, I've heard that before.
But yeah, that's kind of.
It was a similar thing, kind of like somebody else and being in somebody else's body, if you will.
Oh, 100%.
Similar themes. I think Nick fell asleep.
No, I was reading something.
Shit.
No, sorry. I was gonna make a joke, but they aren't very funny. So, anyways, yeah.
Are you making a dad joke about corn?
No, Trev. I just wanted to let you know you're amazing.
Okay.
Congratulations.
I
just corned today. Anyways.
Stick a cob in it.
And smoke it.
That too.
Oh God. But anyways,
do you want me to play a game of cornhole with you? Because I will. Being from Iowa, I am exceptionally good at that.
Just don't bring corn on an airplane because it'll make your ears pop. So.
Do you guys want me to back to Plaid? Because I can.
While walking through that corn maze there, or rows, whatever, do you have a eerie impression that you're being stalked?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Okay.
So with that said, getting all the jokes out of the way, all the corn and puns and stuff like that, we're here to talk a new episode of the Twilight Zone. We're also on something I haven't talked about yet on audio feeds like Corn Hub and Corn Anchor and Audio Corn and Ice Corn and Stalker and Corn Hub. Yeah. No, we're on like iTunes and Audio Boom and Anchor and stuff like that. So subscribe, rate. You want to because we need an audience. We're doing pretty good in the views for our podcast at least, but we could always do better. So at least I think we do. We could. Now that we have Triv backs, we'll definitely get one more view.
Oh, your views will totally tank now that I'm back.
Don't say that, Triv. I tell you out with the stock of corn, the ears. We need the ears. We need the listens. Oh man, it's so late. It's like 1:20 in the morning. Anyways, yeah. So with that said, we're gonna talk about season 3, episode 19, called The Hunt, directed by Harold D. Schuster, written by Earl Hammer Jr. It's
who wrote this episode is Mike Hunt.
Mike Hunt. Was his father named Hunnicutt? Hunnicutt. Or was his cousin named Mike Crotch?
No, but Mike Hawk is.
This 1
Was
o'clock.
his right? Was,
I know.
was his friend named Ivana Tinkle?
No.
Shit. Anyways, so it stars Arthur Hunnicutt, Janet Nolan, Titus Moede, Charles Seel, and Robert Foulk. Jesus.
Robert Foulk.
Yeah, Robert Foulk.
Oh,
Foulk.
Foulk. Oh, I was thinking Peter Foulk.
Yeah, the famous
Moving on.
writer.
Yes, right.
Anyways, so The Hunt is an episode that I remember very, very well. I've seen this episode probably more than most Twilight Zone episodes. It's just one of those episodes that appears a lot on like the marathons and stuff like that. But Jacob, you alluded to that you actually kind of remember this episode, or you did. Assuming that's still true.
Yeah, I alluded to that, but I lied. Or I was wrong.
You're wrong.
Okay, shit.
So nice. We're back to status quo. It said, Triv's back and Jacobs remembers shit.
I thought based on the name and the synopsis I had, I was like, yeah, I think I vaguely remember this. I don't. I don't remember this. None of it. I knew it was. I mean, there was nothing surprising about it, but
right.
I don't think that's because I remember seeing it. I think it's just because it was pretty forthcoming with what was going on.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have any real twist to speak of, but
I mean, it kind of
there is,
but it's not like.
I mean, it's not
very well hidden.
No, but it's also not like Third from the Sun, where it's like, oh my god,
dun, 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 like that. No, it's just kind of.
It's more kind of a subtle, like sweet one.
Sure, we'll go with that.
Behave your shit.
Yeah, with some dark undertones a little bit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
But yeah, I mean, the episode is very much just kind of playing off like, how do you look at your life a little bit? Like, are you who are the people that are most important to you, and what do you do when you come across a person won't let you dog into certain places, and how do you deal with that? But yeah, I mean, Triv, I mean, like I said, you've seen this episode, I'm assuming, quite a bit. So you know this episode.
I'm sure that
Son of a bitch. I quit.
I don't remember. I don't actually remember this one.
Go back to the core, Triv.
Well, I'm in the corn, so I can't see me.
That's true. Right. I can see you. You're just like that small pieces of.
I'm way far in the background. Being the storms that we've had here tonight, you're not supposed to be in a cornfield when it lightnings and tornadoes stuff.
That's what she said.
I'm pretty sure she didn't. But no.
Anyway, so you don't remember this episode, huh?
I remember bits, but I didn't remember like the ending. So I know it's one I've seen, but I don't remember it like well. So
this episode is very stereotyping. It stereotypes country folks, country bumpkins, and like I guess it's trying to play off the whole Jed Clampett.
The guy that wrote this went on to do the Waltons.
Oh, did he?
I fucking see that because I love the Waltons. I ain't gonna lie, and I watch it periodically. And when I was watching this, I was like, I'm getting a strong Waltons vibe here. Like,
the whole
Waltons vibe.
Let me look it up here quick, because the way that it's set up, it's either
he
the
also wrote
director
Jezebel,
or the writer. Oh, shut up.
No, seriously, he wrote Jezebel.
I know. Okay, writer of the episode, Earl Hamner Jr.
Yeah, that's
go on to create the long-running drama, The Waltons.
That's who he's John Boy.
Yeah, the way
the real life John Boy.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Like, cause it's loosely based on his memoirs as a child, or through childhood into adulthood, and he's John Boy in real life.
Wow.
So he's
the character John Boy is him.
So he's a very southern, like he probably is a guy that he grew up like in that very southern kind of world.
Southern manipulation, or
they're like Virginia. Yeah, one of the Virginias, if I remember correctly.
Because they say the way Hader and Rachel address each other as old man and old woman is a precursor to the cantankerous banter between Grandma and Grandpa Walton, who also address each other as such.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, that's
old man, old fool. She called him old fool, and he called her old woman.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
See, that seems like a thing like that you would see people. It feels kind of realistic. Something you would see, like the wife making like dinner and stuff like that, and the old man going out to hunt for whatever and having his coon hound and stuff like that. But actually, I was gonna say the Waltons had Richard Thomas in it, right?
Yeah, he was John Boy.
Yeah. I actually saw Richard Thomas in To Kill a Mockingbird just recently.
Oh, Nice.
He's really good at it.
He went on to be the poster boy for Lifetime movies.
Oh God, really?
He was in so many Lifetime movies.
Nice.
He's also been Bill Denborough in
the It miniseries.
Yeah. You're
with
right.
his ponytail.
He was so cool.
Yeah, right.
The cabin in this also was the one used by the Beverly Hillbillies.
And
that makes sense now.
And Evil Dead.
Was it Evil Dead? Oh my God.
No, I'm just making things up, but I mean
it didn't
make it more interesting.
like it, but
let's just make shit up. Come on.
It's also the
Dude,
cabin
I'm
from
in a
Cabin in the Woods.
Dude, I'm in a cornfield. I don't really want to make things up at this point.
We should start naming cabins in the woods. Say that's what it's named after. Cabin in the Woods.
Let's just throw random bullshit facts into our show for now.
No, God,
don't say anything about it.
My reputation. I'm trivial theater for a reason. God damn it,
Jacob. As long as we do it hypothetically.
Yeah.
No one's stone faced. The guy he meets at the gate later on, he went on to direct The Right Stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the dog.
That is 100%.
The dog was in Lassie.
Your face was in Lassie.
In episode 3 of season 4. Was very famous.
Yeah. It also went on to be a coward, or not coward, but
no shit though. That dog is the father. Oddly enough, obviously the mother was a different breed, but the father is Spuds McKenzie.
Calling total bullshit.
Does anybody remember Spuds McKenzie?
I remember Spuds McKenzie. Yeah.
Somebody's listening to this right now, like, okay, where's the stop button?
No, they did that a long time ago. They did that when we were talking about
unsubscribe, or they're just feverishly looking this stuff. No, really? Is that what are they talking about?
Well, you can definitely tell when Jake's hat is sideways that you're gonna get some shenanigans.
So this episode it's a pretty straightforward, no frills episode. It's just basically about a man and his dog ends up drowning because he goes on a hunt. He lives in this cabin in the middle of like the country area, like probably Virginia or somewhere like in that area, like the Appalachian Mountains. And he is a guy that he loves to hunt with his dog. He loves to hunt raccoons. He loves to hunt whatever. He's very much the guy you would see just like chopping wood down or something like that. He's a very much a
simple man,
Appalachian man. Yeah.
And if that doesn't give it away, the harmonica at the open will.
He did when fall in that water and disappear though.
Yeah.
Like no help or anything. He just went in and I was like, damn, that's a deep ass creek.
Yeah.
Well, I do have questions about that. It's like, okay, so this guy is a woodsman, right? Like a guy that's very much of the of this place, and he can't swim. Like you think he's been in that pool?
Hit his head or something? I don't know, because he just like went down, never came up.
Well, it's like the dog. What's the same with the dog? Did the dog can't swim? Like it's such a weird kind of
dog can't swim.
There's like a
it's a well-known fact that blue tick coonhounds can't swim to save their damn lives.
Probably get eaten by an alligator. That's what I think.
Like we've lost more like really good blue. Yeah, exactly.
Creek gators.
Oh yeah,
got ate up by a creek gator.
Those giant catfish, man. They have a love of coonhounds.
Right. Old farts.
So this guy Hyder Simpson. His name's Hyder Simpson.
Oh, he's a mountain man. Oopsie.
Anyways, he's Hyder. He's Hyder for life.
They never actually say his name, do they?
Did they?
No, they call him Old Man Simpson or something like that. But I just call him Old Man.
Neighbor,
but anyways,
Brother Simpson.
Yeah, good name.
Brother Simpson. Brother Simpson.
But he seems like a guy that just like
an offer
loves...
I can't refuse.
Right, but he seems like a guy who just like loves, like is loved by everyone. And he goes in this house. He wants to make whoopee with his wife, but she doesn't want any of it. He makes food. He goes out. He dies, and he doesn't know it.
He goes out.
He jumps. Well, he chases after a raccoon, and
it's a stock image or stock footage raccoon too, I think.
Yeah, because the dog apparently doesn't know that it ran off. It's like so stupid that it still thinks it's up in the tree.
Hey, don't you be dissing on that dog. That dog is more precious to
that guy. Talk about my coonhound.
That's right.
It's not a very smart coonhound if it didn't know the raccoon.
Oh, but it's such a sweet boy.
Till it falls in the
he's so cute.
A terrible death.
We're not even they wake up on the riverside and they seem fine.
I'm just saying, like, the dog got a burial, so I mean, they left the guy in the house and carried him outside and probably dumped him back in the river.
A shallow grave.
They're gonna bury him upside down and use his ass as a bike stand.
Or they just dump him back in the creek for the alligator.
That's
rather
also
than
good.
give the rest
And
of the
the
alligator.
giant catfish.
Yeah.
Creek
Yeah,
meth
exactly.
I would like to point out.
We did
forgot
have a
something
Red Bull.
again.
Go for it.
Oh, did we? Oh shit. We forgot about that. See, this is what happens when we go on tangents at 1 o'clock in the morning. We just forget shit.
That's
I mean,
true.
it was a little bit into the episode, but I don't think it was this far. It would have been great if at this point this guy
like near the episode.
Rod showed up
Near the end of the episode.
By the way,
what if Rod Serling was actually the angel? He comes in, he's like, whoa. The reason I don't have my wings is 1, I don't have Red Bull, and 2, I have to tell the intro of the episode. He's like, sir, I'm already dead. I don't care. Fuck you. I need to tell the beginning of the episode. Oh shit.
Dog comes up and pees on his leg.
Jacob, go ahead.
an old man and a hound dog named Rip, off for an evening's pleasure in quest of a raccoon. Usually, these evenings end with one tired old man, one battle-scarred hound dog, and one or more extremely dead raccoons. But, as you may suspect, that will not be the case tonight. These hunters won't be coming home from the hill. They're headed for the backwoods of the Twilight Zone.
So that was a great opening, Jacob. That clearly didn't get edited into from 3 hours ago. 3 hours.
No, it did not.
But yeah, I mean, it's a nice opening. Dead raccoons and
That's a little corny.
Dead coon.
Yeah, and corniness.
Old man, coon dog named Rip.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
No.
I wonder if that was a happy accident or if that's like,
No, I think it was specifically meant to be.
But I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, this stuff's fine. Like, he doesn't know he's dead. He's like trying to talk to the guys that are burying the dog, and he thinks they're ignoring him, but he's like, "Get off my lawn, you young kids!" And then he's like, "You're burying a dog. It's fine."
He's Grandpa Simpson. He is literally Grandpa Simpson.
Get off my land.
He's Clint Eastwood.
You better dig that hole on the other side of that there fence. I'm put a hole.
But the funny thing about that's how he acts too. But the funny part is, him and his wife are only 50 years old in this episode. Like, legit, they're only 50 years old. No, seriously, like, they were born in 1911. This episode, 1962.
Like,
they were married for 50 years.
No, what I'm saying is, like, the real actors are 50 years old.
Right.
Like, this is how old he looks.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Damn.
But it was also the 50s, and they lived through the Great Depression.
Yeah, they was real depressed.
Yeah.
I'd be real depressed if I looked that old at 52.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I thought maybe he's like in his 70s because he's calling like
10
old
years
woman
from
and an old man. Yeah.
It's less than 8. That's less than 7 years from now. Oh my god, I'm gonna look like that.
That's
before
like
the end of the 2020s.
That's like going from Ewan McGregor to Alec Guinness over the course of 15 years.
All right, Obi-Wan had some real depressing years.
Oh shit,
It was rough out there.
He became leather. He became a man.
better than the Emperor.
Well, the Emperor became he looked like a penis, or not a shriveled old penis.
I mean, he was a shriveled old penis, but okay.
Yeah, yes, he was. Then you guys
It
head chopped
wasn't
up by
corn, I'll tell you that much.
No. One day, Triv, you'll be full stocked.
I'm already pretty stocked. Stacked.
Yeah.
I don't know, something.
So, so he doesn't know he's dead until, I don't know, halfway through the episode. I think he kind of figures it out. But I mean, like, he goes into his house and his wife is in morning clothes, and they lift up the what is it, the casket? Is that what it's called?
I like how he walks in there and like she's dressed all in black. Clearly, I mean, like the most funeral wear you could be wearing, and he walks in and he's like, "I don't know what you all gussied up for. You think you're gonna get out of here and leave me because I stayed out all night? You got another thing coming, woman." Like, I'm like, you think she gets dressed up like that to leave?
Oh yeah,
how's this chick usually dressed?
In white.
I just don't think like they would be. I don't think she would be dressed like that. I don't know. It feels like more of a Hollywood thing than it was like.
For a funeral,
I mean,
dressing black.
Yeah, that people dress. Yeah, that was.
But are the other ones? I can't remember the other ones. Are they dressed in black?
Nick shows up at funerals in a yellow suit.
I'm the guy that comes in like,
"What's up, guys? It's a party."
Yeah, I come in dressed like the guys from Dumb and Dumber. That's how I dress.
Your husband died. Bummer.
Oh, I'm like Will
Master
Ferrell.
That sucks.
I'm like Will Ferrell in Wedding Crashers.
He's a funeral crasher.
Hey, if it gets you, a little bit of extra time, then what else can you say?
I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think about this stuff? Like, this is kind of where the act break happens around here. But like, I mean, it's just basic setup. Like, it's not bad. It's not good. It's just a bunch of way to get him into eventually meet what he thinks is St. Peter.
I mean, it moves along at a decent pace. I think, the couple are endearing. They're engaging as a couple. I really enjoyed him. I thought it was all right. No real issues.
He was trying to do it all for the nookie.
Well, yeah, duh.
To get that cookie.
Don't you?
Stick it up your yeah. Stick it up your yeah.
Yeah, I know you like to stick it up your ass.
I don't know what you're
Well,
talking about.
Get that N64 controller up in here for him.
I don't know about all that, but I thought, yeah, up to that point, I kept checking how long the episode had left. Not because I was bored, but because I was like, there's got to be more to this. Because not one single time have I been fooled into thinking this guy was dead. From the minute we focused on that water, just some bubbles, and then it stops, and then he shows up. I was like, he's dead. And they even talk about don't get out there and die.
Oh yeah,
he dies.
And then he goes and he talks.
It's
to
very, yeah.
It's not a. I don't think it's supposed to be a secret that he's dead. Especially,
unlike that water, it's not that deep.
Yeah, seconds later he walks up to them people and talks to them, and they're just ignoring him. You're like, yeah, him and his dog died. So when he gets back in there, and then he goes walking to who's in that casket that they just pulled out of my room, and my wife's all dressed in black going to a funeral. Who's in there? And nobody will answer me. Let's follow him, Jeb or Rip.
And he runs into a fence.
He follows him, so I'm like, there has to be something else here. This is not it. And I looked and had 10 minutes left, and I was like, yeah, something else is gonna happen. So up to this point, I was like, I mean, I'm not blown away by it. I'm not bored out of my mind. I'm just kind of okay.
It's not Dead Man's Shoes. It doesn't feel insulting.
No, it's kind of simple, and it's just kind of okay.
Yeah.
Old guy dies, and he's still here. Nobody can see him. He's a ghost. I was like, all right, whatever. I mean, it's not the most intriguing story point that we've seen in the hallowed halls of the Twilight Zone as of yet, but it was fine, I guess. I looked at it as setup. It was a bit more setup than we usually get, I guess. It seemed like I was just ready for it. I was trying to anticipate and looking forward to what's the twist going to be.
Yeah, fair.
Do you think if they had set it up where he was already dead and he didn't know it, do you think that would have worked better, or do you think the way they did it here is?
You mean try to fool us?
Yeah, to make it like he's dead already.
We've already had episodes. We've already had episodes that kind of go that route. You don't think you need 15 episodes that of someone going, "Oh my God, I'm not dead. There's no way I'm dead."
Oh, I know. I was just curious. That was my question. I was just curious. Yeah.
No,
I don't think that aspect was what the episode was going for, as we learned in the second half. That's not what it was about. It wasn't about that he died. So I knew, that's how I knew. I was
it was about how he lived.
That they are not trying to hide the fact that he's dead at all. So I was like, there has to be something else here. There's always going to be, whether it's executed well or not is debatable, but there's always going to be some other moral to the tale, typically when it comes to Twilight Zone. So I was like, something else is going to happen. So yeah, I don't think that if they tried to fool us, I don't think they had time. If it was an hour-long episode, maybe. But with a 24-minute episode, I don't think they had time to, put up this ruse of him being dead and us not realizing it. You could do that. But at that point, we'd probably be sitting here talking about that whole part where they were trying to fool us into him being dead. They should have just cut all that out and gone straight to the crux of the episode there at the end. It was too long.
You make 5 minutes long.
Yeah.
This is kind of random, and it's not really a sexicon word, but it's still kind of interesting. When he wakes up next to the creek, he tells Rip that the old woman gives us Hail Columbia. And I have no idea what that means.
I was gonna say he has a cheap set of ears.
Yeah, that's true too.
He's born with a cheap set of ears. Yeah,
you're
I don't know what
dead.
That means. Well, no, this episode kind of is looking through the bullshit, looking through being honest and stuff like that, because when it comes back from the act break, it basically leads us to a guy manning a booth, and the dog is going ape shit, and this guy is Hunnicutt, or not Hunnicutt, Simpson, thinks it's
Brother
St.
Simpson.
Peter. Yeah, Mother Simpson. Is that what you said?
Yeah, isn't that what he keeps calling him, brother?
Oh yeah, he calls
Brother
him like
Simpson, yeah.
brother Simpson. Yeah, brother Simpson. Shock
Neighbor
horn.
or brother?
Yeah, neighbor. Yeah, brother neighbor Simpson or something. But like, there's something off about it because he's like, if you walk through this gate, you'll hear the trumpets, but you can't hear it. But like, I don't know, whatever you believe in, I'm assuming like if you believe in going to heaven, you would hear the trumpets or whatever, or the hymns or whatever as soon as you die and move on to whatever afterlife. But like the first kind of weird, kind of odd thing about it is you don't hear anything. And then the dog's going berserk, and he finds out he's dead, and he says, if you go on and on and on, it's just eternal whatever, and you never finish. And everything seems like really off by this situation. Like, why is there smoke? Why is there it's just it feels like a very barren looking heaven, and that's just kind of it's kind of a nice little setup, or not really setup, kind of a nice little twist in its own right to know that this isn't what you think it is. And the fact that Rip, he won't let Rip into the guard won't let Rip into this whatever this is, and that's kind of a warning sign for, shows you man's best friend knows better than the man. So I don't know.
Well, he trusts his dog. That's kind of the
I knew something was up. I knew what it was.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not like huge. It's kind of an interesting little kind of tell.
I mean, it's the twist, what it really is. And I do wish they had done a better job at hiding said twist, so that when the twist actually happened, you weren't like, well, yeah. Then it was like, oh, okay. At least would it have been the biggest, best twist, and would it have catapulted it to top 10? No, not thus far. But I do wish they had just done a little bit better job. But I mean, if nothing else, I mean, I thought it before this I'm about to mention, but I was already thinking, I don't feel like the beings of heaven would have to persuade someone that much to come on in, but then I knew it for sure when the dog first of all, the dog didn't want to go in there, but then when he said the dog couldn't go in there, I was like, that's horse shit, because we all know.
With that in mind, I actually thought, because like if you go by a lot of, and I got thinking too deep on this, but there's always that argument about how animals don't go to heaven and how it's just like it's just humans. So that's, my brain got caught up on that. So this actually did take me a little bit by surprise.
Well, but he talks about how he's like he'll sneak the. It was like he talked about how he'll sneak the dog in, and it's very like well, that's my point. Like he's saying he'll sneak the dog in, but it's like if it were truly heaven, which is not, according like all creatures of any kind are welcome.
Oh, no.
You see that later on. But what you're saying,
the whole heaven thing and all, it's all supposed to kind of be based around like not being kind of conniving and
that is true.
And this guy's like, hey man, just come on in here and I'll sneak it in. I was like, first off, there's no other dogs. I feel like that's just not going to work. And secondly, aren't you supposed to kind of be the judge? Isn't that what St. Peter, he kind of like judges you based on your actions? So now he's freely saying he'll do something that he would judge someone else for. This, not lining up. I'm not saying I have the most robust knowledge of the Bible and all that stuff, but I feel like that didn't line up for me.
No, and I agree with you 100%. I just like, my brain got caught up on that whole notion of things, and I think that's probably what caught me up. But when he started being like, oh well, when he started saying, oh, I'll sneak him in the back, it's like, okay, this is more to this than what it seems. So
whether meets the eye, devil in disguise. No, but like
only no car balls though.
Right. I just think it's telling, like the way the path looks. It's very barren. It feels very uncomfortable. The smoke doesn't help. I mean, I'm not saying there's not fog or smoke and whatever you believe in when it comes to heaven or hell or whatever.
Hey,
but I'm pretty sure
a hot woman has come out of like smoke like that. Like look at Weird Science.
Are you saying if like the old woman had like come out of the smoke, maybe he would have gone?
Probably.
Quite honestly, what they should have done if they wanted to stay super biblical with it, and once again, I'm not the most learned in this, but they should have made this part, which, by the way, those of you who are listening that haven't watched the episode, which I doubt there's many of you, but if you don't know, this is hell. We find out
Yeah,
They should have made it.
It's not on fire though, you know.
They should have made it look great, like very well. It's like, oh, it's everything you want. And then the other way, the other road he has to take should have been, more
Path less traveled.
Exactly, less travel, kind of overgrown and not so great.
Yeah, it's almost like should there be a Kevin Nealon with boobs on his head or something like that, or should it be Harvey
Harvey
Keitel, yeah,
Lester,
right? And Rufus Aliens, yeah, Popeye's chicken, Rhys Ifans. But no, I mean, I think the fact that the dog he's more worried about the dog being kind of, they always say dogs can sense like a ghost or an animal or a young kid or something like that. It's just, I think that he's so close to this animal that the animal really is kind of his guiding soul, if you want to look at it that way a little bit.
Oh yeah, well, and they've talked about that throughout the episode. Like it's not referenced per se, but yeah, exactly. It's like Coco.
Yeah, exactly. It basically is if he could marry a dog or marry an animal and have it be his wife, I think this dog would be it. That's how close he is.
This is his drinking buddy. He's got a wife.
Yeah,
I mean he does try to kiss his wife, and I do like the relationship between the old man and old woman.
It's cute. It's cheeky.
Yeah,
very Walton.
Yeah, they're
exactly.
There's just like that love there that it really feels authentic, which is nice. And he walks on his way. The guy goes back to the shack, and then he walks into this really nice, lush area. And then the old man John Boy, or young John Boy, like apparently
Jethro.
This is like this Jethro, yeah, yeah. This heaven is nothing but Appalachian mountain man country type of world. I
think it's supposed to be kind of like that heaven.
Like what his.
Yeah, everybody's heaven is different or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, 100%. I could see that.
Like somebody who grew up in New York City and lived and died there probably wouldn't be in this version of heaven, I assume. Or they might be
right.
Exactly. It's hell. It's all hell.
It's like, why is this guy in suspenders and a flannel shirt and no shoes? It's like, what the hell is going on? This isn't New York. No, but
this is a nice place to visit.
Right. But the guy's like, shucks, he's like that type of like, his southern drawl comes out, stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, the other guy wouldn't let my dog in, and he's like, yeah, that's hell, and I'm just here to send you on your way.
I don't break them wings that often.
Like, what do you guys think about this ending? Like this, this guy who's like apparently doesn't ever use his wings because apparently George never found that his life was wonderful. And I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, it's a nice what it is it's not a dour, disturbing, depressing, world's gonna ending. It's just guy realizes that he's dead. He asks about his wife, and he's like, oh yeah, she's gonna be dead like in an hour. You'll see her in an hour.
He's on her way.
It's just a nice right. It's just like a nice kind of calm, collective, no, I mean, somebody died, but they're just like, they're moving on to whatever afterlife they're moving on to. And he gets to go have his coonhound hunts, and he gets to have, square dancing. And it just feels like a very nice ending to a kind of a dark subject matter.
More interesting, upbeat version of The Passerby.
Very.
Yes, exactly.
So
all you do is put coonhounds in.
Exactly. See, these episodes are kind of my jam. Like whether you're talking like
it's like the One for the Angels. It's actually a similar vibe to it a little bit. Yeah.
I mean, it still has kind of a sad ending, but it's an ending that you can look at and go, okay, it's a wholesome ending.
Bittersweet.
Very
Walton-esque.
Yeah, imagine that.
It'd be like if 6 Feet Under was the Waltons.
There you go.
I didn't even realize that until Earl Hamner wrote that until you said that. If I'd read that, I would have been like, hey, that's the Waltons guy.
I never was
crazy. It's crazy because like around the time, I think it was around the time between when he went walking down the Eternal Road before he met Jethro. It was the music, the tone, everything. I was getting massive Waltons vibes. I was like, this is very Waltons. I remember
would explain it.
That. So, hey, makes sense.
I mean, yeah, he grew up there. He grew up in a town that was hit hard by the Great Depression. So this stuff makes sense about, very simplified storytelling. I mean, I'm assuming the Waltons was more like authentically real life, down to earth type story. I've never really watched the Waltons, but I know of it. I watched like maybe an episode. No, I mean,
it shows that a lot of
people
are aware of and like know the pop culture about to a degree, or at least the name, and they kind of know what the Waltons means when someone says it. But then if you actually like watch it as an adult, it's actually a really good and very progressive in a lot of ways. It's just a very good show.
Yeah.
It's kind of like wholesome, but not necessarily corny. Like you expect it to be kind of like corny, but it's
right.
I mean, it has its moments. It was made in the 70s, but it's not really as corny as you think it would be.
What was it? I was trying to think of the there was a no. There was Touched by, was it Touched by an Angel?
That's the one with,
there was like Touched by,
that was in the 90s, I think, wasn't it? Touched
well,
by
no,
Heaven Can Wait. No,
but,
that's
no, Touched by an Angel was 90s.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the one with the shit, what's his name? The hitchhiker guy, where he was an angel or something like that.
Oh, are you thinking of Highway to Heaven?
Highway to Heaven, yeah. With the guy, he got cancer. He was on Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, that's why like the Waltons was similar to like Little House on the Prairie, right? Like it was that type of.
Yeah, same time. Not
Michael Landon. That's who I was thinking.
Yeah,
Michael Landon.
It wasn't based in the same time period, but it came out.
No, I meant like that, like kind of wholesome, like feeling show, like in that time frame. Not the time era, but yeah,
it's wholesome, but it does deal with real life, issues and stuff like that. It's not like all like it more or less realistically within reason deals with real life issues. Little House on the Prairie, I'm not as familiar with. I'm kind of like I'm familiar with Little House on the Prairie the way a lot of people are just in passing with like the Waltons. I know a lot more about the Waltons because I actually watched that. Little House on the Prairie, I'm just kind of more aware of like the pop culture and the basic vibe.
Yeah, like the opening, like her running down the hill and stuff like that.
Yeah, for what I remember, the little bit I have seen of it, it's probably a little bit more like a sitcom-y, not sitcom-y, kind of just like what you would expect from a TV show concerning that from the 70s or whenever it came out. The Waltons was a bit more, wow, it's actually dealing with this thing and calling it out and talking about it seriously. So till the later seasons, the last season was fucking weird.
What's funny? In the Waltons, or
yeah, the last season is. I think it's through the last season. There is a season close to the end of the Waltons that goes off the fucking rails. Like John Boy dies, but then comes back to life. He didn't really die. He was in the war, and they think he's dead for a long time because what's his name left the show. And he comes back, but it's a different actor. They find
out.
Oh shit! And then things are just really weird. Like one of the girls has like PTSD from like a
that happened in the Wonder Years too. Like Wonder Years did that kind of shit.
Yeah, and she at one point like there's poltergeists at their house and stuff. It's fucking crazy. You're like, wait, what show have I walked into? This is not what I was just watching. It's like late. It's way on. And I think it did recoup from it and come back for like because I don't think it's the last season. I think it's the second to last season. But there's like some really fucking weird ones in there that you could probably just skip over.
Yeah, that happens to every TV show. I mean, I just think like what I was gonna say is I think it's kind of funny that when you look at TV shows from the 60s, 70s, and somewhat 80s, and you look at shows now, everything's more high concept, high fantasy, high compared to like the 1960s and 70s where it was a lot of these shows. It was like Twilight Zone was like on a completely different level because it was actually that high concept, but a lot of it was like Bonanza or Gunsmoke or the Waltons or Little House on the Prairie. Every once in a while you got a Twilight Zone type. I mean, Mr. Ed, I guess.
A lot of shows nowadays, they don't do what I always call, and this is a phrase, but I'm probably using it a bit incorrect, Monster of the Week, where it's like the show is self-contained to what's happening in that episode. And sometimes
I think X-Files is like the last one to really do that outside Fringe.
Yeah, but they would have an overarching story for the season or the show or whatever. But it was the vast majority of the episode, like most back then were like 22 episodes or thereabout. Like 5 episodes would be, 5 or 6 episodes would be directly related to the overarching big story. But the rest of it was just kind of like this week on, we're doing this and here a problem. Solution, and that's the each one is a self-contained story that kind of contributes to all of it. But nowadays it's like each episode, if you missed last week, you're going to be fucking lost this week because everything is like, it's like one big long movie. So like if one
That's why
doesn't
Curb Your
work,
Enthusiasm is so great.
yeah, you don't get that a lot. And I mean, I know we're talking about the Waltons a lot. The Waltons was very much like that. Each episode, a lot of them.
But I mean, this is like that episode, like the Waltons. Like the hunt is like because it's from the same person, so it's like there's that feel of like very down to earth, very kind of homely, very genuine authenticness that the Twilight Zone doesn't do a lot of. It's been surprising, like when there's authentic moments, but mostly it's dealing with like the human psyche more than just a guy with his dog having
or even very moralistic, like, and not in a bad way, but very moral driven stuff. This is very, not that it's real, but it feels more real.
It feels more genuine and honest. And that was something
there's not a lesson to learn. Sometimes it's just that bond between, it's a showing of, because the thing that I pulled from this was there's that bond between a person and their beloved pet.
And that's what Earl Hamner does really well, because like with the Waltons, there of course were lessons to be learned, and you would learn them. So this week we're learning this lesson, but sometimes it was just a story. Here's some stuff that happens to these people. Right. There's not necessarily a lesson to be derived from it. It's just a genuine, honest story. Maybe somebody passes away, and there's no like lesson to be learned there. It's just you see genuine. This is this seems real. How people would react to this. Or just something happens within these people's lives over the course of time, and that's what this seemed like. I mean, of course, you have the high concept of the heaven and hell and the death and all that, but that's we don't get that much nowadays. No. That kind of genuine, more genuine storytelling.
But even with that, it's more like the way he was in life was kind of the way he reacted to death. He's like, well, if there's a party that won't, that's too fancy for my dog, it's far too fancy for me. Like he takes it as a humble individual, like. The thing that saves him is his approach to all of those things.
If you're too good for my dog, you're too good for me.
Right. It's kind of like when you get really good country music, like when you get those really great story songs. They tell a story, and it's just a story.
And I guess I should rephrase. There wasn't high concept shows in the 1960s. There was like Mission Impossible and The Prisoner and stuff like that.
Fugitive.
But the biggest shows, the biggest shows were like the Waltons and Little House on the Prairie and
Star Trek.
I don't know about Matt. Well, Star Trek. Star Trek wasn't that big, was it? It wasn't really that big.
Star Trek was pretty high concept, though.
It was high concept, but it wasn't as popular as it is now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Batman.
like shows that were popular.
Batman.
Yeah. Like Naked Batman. Yeah, Batman. That was
pretty
just
high concept.
Camp. Yeah, camp comment.
But anyways, stories like this spoke to people, not necessarily just what they were saying, but how they were saying it. Like people saw it, even if you didn't grow up. I mean, I didn't grow up in the backwoods or anything like this guy, but I mean, these two people interacting, it seemed like a real couple that had been together for 50 years, just sitting there. On the surface, some people might say, "Oh, they're kind of being mean," but it's like, no, they're not being mean. They're just being straightforward, and this is how people are after a long time. That's not miserable. It's just kind of like, yeah.
Well,
I
don't
have to tell you I love you every moment of my life because
there was nothing. There was nothing rude about what they were saying back and forth. They were kind of being teasy and silly and things like that.
Yeah,
well, I was gonna say like I'm assuming that you and your wife Jacob do crack on each other a lot. Like you guys have your loving moments, but you also make fun of each other. It's just what couples and relationships do. It's just like. I mean, I would hope. I mean, I'm just assuming like
she has a quick wit.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I'm assuming that you guys bust each other's balls every once in a while. I mean, I'm assuming that kind of stuff happens. Like you can't just say, yeah. But no, I mean, you know what I mean, though. I mean, like, it's just the assumption that like people were like, oh no, they can't, they have to be like, lovey-dovey all the time. Like, no, that's not how that's not how relationships work.
No, you're not doing that all the time. I mean, maybe like for the first little while when you get together with somebody, but after a while, you if you have to like go for years and years, your whole life of constantly reminding someone that you love them and care about them, something's missing because
exactly.
I'm not saying never say it or anything, but they, your loved ones know that you do. And I mean, you don't have to sit there and remind them of it all the time. No, you mess around with each other, you kid, you tease, and all that. Just like you were talking about,
you treat them like a human.
Like they talked, like the couple in this did, and like they do in the Waltons, how they called each other old man or old fool in the Waltons and old woman and stuff like that. It's on the surface, well, that's insulting. It's a term of endearment. They're messing with each other. You know? Like, I mean, even like in the Waltons, when the grandfather, much like this one, he does pass away. He passed away in real life. So he passed. Same with her. He passed away in real life. So on the show, of course, they had him pass away, and she called him at his graveside, sitting there tearing up. She called him old fool, and it's like it's a very much a term of endearment, and that's what they do here. They talk, they talk to each other like that, and that's real, and I think people connect with that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, the episode is not what I call the greatest because it's a very simplified story. It is what it is. Sure. It's not trying to fuck with you or mess with you, or it's just like, hey, here's a guy. He lost his life.
The portrayals were good.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, with that said, that's the end of the episode. He goes into heaven, and of course, Rod Serling, we'll get into the closing narration in a second. But I mean, is there anything else you want to talk about with this episode? Is there anything that I had to point out that I forgot outside the opening narration that you came across with this episode? Like, I
mean, for me, and I know Triv, you probably get comments on it too, but I didn't think it was the greatest episode ever. I didn't think it was a bad episode.
Yeah,
it was a.
That's why I call it guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that meant, well, maybe more for me, at least more like a palate cleanser, or just kind of a sweet.
It's refreshing,
unoffensive, nice little feel good episode. I mean, by the end, you feel good about it. It's not mind blowing. It's not going to be in my top 10 or anything like that. But I mean, it is a nice little, hey, somebody didn't get fucked in the end of this, and not something terrible didn't happen. It was just like a nice little episode. And that the story itself is just kind of like, it's fine. It's cool. And the execution. But I thought as far as the execution, I thought the portrayals of the characters, the main characters at least, was really well done. Well, you can look at it and kind of laugh at like how some of the people here talk and act or kind of played up as being kind of country bumpkin and all that, but they were genuine for what they were. For the place that they were depicting, they're very genuine. Like this man was like, screw you, you don't take my dog and piss off. My dog is like my kid, And the old man and the old woman's interactions were very good. I thought that the guy who was playing, I don't know who he was supposed to be, but the devil character or whatever at Hell, he was really good. He came off as, I really liked how that character came off. I feel like in a lot of cases, especially back then, when you're depicting a demon, devil, a hell spawn or whatever, they would typically go real deep into it and like be real slimy and conniving. I thought this guy did a really good job of coming across as helpful and not being that, as believable for a moment there. You're kind of like, I think is he St. Peter or an angel or whatever. And it's more in just how he kind of won't let up, right? How he just kind of keeps saying, hey, come on in here. But I thought they did a really good job with that. They didn't take that low road of just being kind of like all like, like that, like they usually would in these things. I thought his portrayal was really good. And I like how the other angel showed up and it was just kind of like not a lot of fanfare. So yeah, I like the portrayals, but the story was just kind of, it was fine.
Yeah, I just like having the dog there. The dog's just kind of, he had no idea what's going on. He just barks at whatever. He's like, fuck you. I'm just gonna bark it.
At one point he was trying to shake hands with somebody. It's like, oh, they left him hanging. Poor puppy.
But what about you? What'd you think?
Yeah,
you.
Oh,
I talked for a long time, so
could be.
No, it's all right. No, I like I said, I like episodes like this, just that they're kind of not that the Twilight Zone doesn't have episodes like this, but it is kind of a, once in a blue moon that they come up, and I don't know, they always speak to my heart. And I, like, my parents are kind of around this age, and I see them, like, you'll see them hold hands and stuff, and you get a lot of that feel coming from this, and how they would react if they were in that kind of a situation and whatnot. So I don't know, from that perspective, it kind of pulls on my heartstrings a bit. But no, I enjoyed the episode. The fact that it's, and again, I'm looking at this from like a probably too hardcore Christian perspective, but like the fact that they said, hey, you know what? Dog's allowed in heaven, and the dog led him on the right way. It was, it was very much an all dogs go to heaven thing, though, where like it, they take him in the right direction and save the life and all that stuff. I mean, without the dog, he would have ended up someplace not so great. So all that stuff, like it warmed the cockles of my cold dead heart.
Yeah, my cockles are thoroughly warmed.
That's what I thought too. That's why you need an extra corn cob.
Yeah, so pop the corn of your soul.
My cockles pop their corn all over the place.
Yeah.
And the gold tassels. You gotta love the gold tassels.
Like woo. So that's what John Travolta was seeing in the bot, like when he opens up the case, it's just a picture of you going woo.
Oh, absolutely. Not even a question.
With the gold tassels on your cockles. Oh, shit.
I don't have cockles.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I agree. Like it's an entertaining episode. Like it doesn't move the needle on the Twilight Zone. It's just an episode. Apparently, Errol Hamner Jr. The next 2 episodes that he does are in the same vein of like the Blue Ridge Mountains / Mountain Bend, and
that's his thing. That's where he grew up.
Right.
Yeah. And
I mean,
of course,
it's like we have Western episodes, we've got outer space episodes, so these are good to have too. Something outside the box for a modern age.
Right. And of course, he wrote Triv's favorite episode of all time, Jess Spell. I mean,
oh God.
He wrote that one. And he wrote, yeah, exactly. And then piano something he wrote as well. Yeah. So Jacob, we have something I actually remember this time. The closing narration.
Closing narration. Travelers to unknown regions would be well advised to take along the family dog. He could just save you from entering the wrong gate. At least it happened that way once in a mountainous area of the Twilight Zone. Thank you for making that short, Rod, because I have to pee.
So anyways, with that said, that is season 3, episode 19, The Hunt. Definitely not a urinal episode. And yeah, let's do it. Let's go into Rod Serling's favorite life of Rod Serling's bidet.
I wipe with corn silk.
Right.
Don't wipe against the grain. Rougher that way.
Yeah, exactly. Oof. Oof.
No, anyways, we're gonna do the Twilight Zone ranking list now. I hope. The greatest ranking list that Rod Serling would definitely have appreciated, because he loves people to rank his stuff, and we love ranking lists because we are of the ranking list type.
Yeah, we are.
We definitely did go on a tirade about ranking lists last week, so I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no.
I love how none of us on our channels ever, or at least very rarely, have ranked much of anything, but we rank shit every week on here.
Yeah, I mean,
I
used to do ranking lists all the time.
Thing.
Oh, you did? I've done like 1 or 2 of them, but it was usually whatever. Not big on rankings.
Me neither.
Oh, I love them. I love rankings. I
don't even know how I would rank what I review,
Amazing Bulk number 1, Quest of Fire number 2, Birdemic number 3.
No.
So anyways, yeah. So this episode is like, I would put it like halfway down the list, but I don't know where. Like I wouldn't put this in the top 50, or maybe you would put it in the top 50. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I was thinking right behind What You Need, number 41.
Halfway down would be around the 40s.
Yeah.
That's actually, I was thinking above the Prime Mover.
Yeah.
I mean, that had the great like guy or car crashing into the power.
Yeah, this is a kick-ass car crash.
That is a kick-ass car.
I think there's a stock footage.
The guy going trying to move the dice.
But they didn't shoot that, right? Wasn't that stock footage or something? Or
yeah, it was like of a movie.
Yeah, because it like stood out. It was like, holy shit, their production value just went skyrocket. Oh no, it's back.
I mean, I don't know. Is this better than the episode 2?
That's the
that's
season 1.
That's
the first
that's Nick's man
shirtless.
crush.
Yeah.
That's Triv's man crush.
That too.
I mean, I don't know. Nice Place to Visit is the one with the gangster guy. The sea here.
I do think it's on par with 2 as far as like the story. How it's not the deepest story. It's just kind of a nice little story. But I think that this one had better characters, or at least character portrayals, in my opinion.
It's
Is
definitely
this better than Dean Stockwell and yellow face.
Was that a Quality of Mercy?
I
Yeah.
think so.
I mean, there's also a most
enjoy-
unusual camera.
I like
The
that
thing
story
is-
better.
Yeah, I don't think it's better than like I love the story of Most Unusual Camera better than this one, but I still enjoy this one. So I mean, I don't know that I would go higher than Most Unusual Camera, but that's me.
Most Unusual Camera overall was a more entertaining episode.
Yeah.
But that's a really fun episode. Quality of Mercy, I think the story, the hook was better there. But man, I really did like the portrayals of the characters in this. But they, even though they weren't my people, I felt like they were very genuine. I would put it right. Me myself, I put it right around like that 32, 33 spot.
I could do that.
You think it's better than Ron Howard almost drowning in a?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not like that episode.
Oh no, was it Ron Howard? Was that who was in the episode?
No, it was Billy Muni.
Bill Mummy. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was drowning. So you think it's
Which one was that?
Right below?
That's where
Long Distance Call. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where his grandma calls him and tells him to kill himself.
I didn't like that episode. Thought it could have been good. I didn't like the execution of that episode.
Yeah.
So you think I could below Quality of Mercy above 2?
That or between a Most Unusual Camera and Quality of Mercy?
That's me. What about you, Nick? Nick?
I don't know.
Nick.
Number 1.
Okay.
Oh, okay. We're doing that. We're doing that. Okay.
No, I'm
no. In all honesty,
27.
Hey, I'm all right with that.
No, I mean, yeah, somewhere around there is fine. Like, you guys decide. You guys, it's 2 against 1, so. I'm cool with whatever.
We take your opinion into consideration.
We do very much. We kind of look at it.
That's why Monsters Jump April
piss on it.
6.
We kind of look at it, like ponder it, and then toss it out the window after pissing on it. But we do take your opinion into it.
You throw it out a 2-foot window.
We think about it. Yes. Into a 2-foot creek.
Exactly.
Where you drown.
Full of 2-foot catfish that destroy you.
Oh, so it's the country version of the
fever
glass.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm okay with it going underneath between A Quality of Mercy and Most Unusual Camera.
What about you, Jacob? Who has to pee?
I have to pee as well.
That's where I was kind of leaning, unless you had something to add.
No, I don't. I mean, like I said, there's not really a place I'm like, it needs to go there. I that's fine with me. I don't have any problem with that.
Like if I was placing it, I'd put it at 32 probably.
32.
But I'm okay with
right
32, 33. I'm all right with
32. Go 32.
Okay. Yeah.
She has spoken.
32.
Damn right I have.
What episode is this? The cunt.
She who walks in the rose.
Shit. Where was I? Okay. So yeah, I think that works. It's very, very late. I think it's very, very late. It's very late for everyone, apparently. So anyways, with that, yeah, Jacob's like, I need to get the fuck to sleep. I need to pee. Triv's like, I don't know, life, corn.
I gotta freaking pee, yeah.
Everybody's got to pee except for me, which is very weird. So anyways, with that said, new number 32, The Hunt. Number 1, Eye of the Beholder. Number 84, The Trouble of Templeton. Yeah.
Beat this shit up.
Would you move your damn ass?
He's taking his time.
No.
Anyways,
the next.
Let's go through them all. Number 2.
Number 1.
Move it along, Jackson. I don't know who that is.
So, anyways, the next episode is season 3, episode 20. Showdown with Rance McGrew, sorry. Directed by Christian Nyby, written by Rod Serling, stars Larry Blyden, Arch Johnson, Robert Cornway, and Robert J. Stevenson. Larry Blyden sounds familiar, but we'll look forward to that one. It's an episode I don't remember at all, but yeah. So with that said, we'll do that next week. And Triv, welcome back.
Thank you.
You're recording this.
Yay.
We missed you last week, so I'm glad you're
thanks,
back,
guys.
But since Jacob has to pee, I'm gonna let him go second. Triv, you have content. You just posted, like I said, you posted just recently the Meet the Feebles, but where's that content
at? You can find me here on YouTube at Trivial Theater. My next thing up is called Blood Theater. It's a fun little movie from the guy that did Hobgoblins. You can find me here on YouTube as well as Twitter and Blue Sky at Trivial Theater.
Nice. Now, Jacob, I'm gonna let you talk now because I know you have a lot to promote, and I know you had to pee. So give me your stuff. Give me your spiel.
I do.
Where is everything?
I just want to point out why you guys were being funny, and you said that
He peed in a bottle.
No, I searched where I searched for pictures peeing to try and throw a funny picture up. Maybe like the Calvin and Hobbes thing where he's like doing that you saw on the back of all the cars and trucks back in the day and blah blah blah. Yeah, that's not what showed up. There's a lot of other stuff that I can't put up here.
Oh, I'm sure.
And I didn't. Yeah, how do you X that? I didn't need to see that. There's a lot. Wow. Okay, don't search peeing is under images. Don't do it. Or even peeing funny because same shit. Anyway, yeah, check out my channel RetroJakeXY over on YouTube, where I now have even more content. Every week for the next 5 weeks, I'll be releasing a new part in my 5-part series about the Nintendo 64 until the end, where the whole big mammoth, veiny, girthy video will come out. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah. Jacob finally has a video. Woo!
I do have content.
Yay!
Yeah, he has content. So anyways, look forward to all their videos. Watch all their videos. Watch everything. Watch all World's videos, all that good stuff. No, anyways, watch their stuff because it's great. They put a lot of effort into it. I'm at, of course, Movie Emporium, where I hold all my content. I do reviews, have things and places, and talk about stuff that I enjoy. So but yeah, Anchor, SoundCloud, iTunes. Please subscribe. Please rate. Please give us, even if you want to do a negative comment, hypothetically, just let it all out. We'll talk about it. We'll joke about it, and we have fun.
Let it out like
anyway, exactly.
Into a bidet.
This out.
Like a good stream, and like a good sprinkling of corn everywhere, and rivers and mass hysteria. For myself, Jacob, and Triv, we'll see you guys next time in the Twilight Zone. Peace out, motherfucker.
Bye. We're doing this again, huh?
It's after eating competition. What would the corn say? It's utter cornage.
Just a good movie that happened. It came out at that time, like a decade. Right. Oh, The Thing is fantastic. Did you know that there was?
I have no comment on that.
No, I know
come on, really?
I know what his comment is.
Let's hear your comment. Let's hear it. What's your comment?
I'm not a fan of the Thing.
Oh my god!
I like the effects, but I'm not. But you're talking about a guy whose favorite horror film is Halloween, so
acceptable.
That's fair.